You don't have to adhere to others' expectations of what you should do. I'm not obliged to pursue the mold they set for me. That's their responsibility, not mine. Of course, considering others' opinions can sometimes be meaningful, as they may contain valuable wisdom. However, if we become too fixated on others' opinions to the point of spending hours contemplating what they think, it can cause unnecessary pain. This video will delve into this based on some concepts from psychology and philosophy. 1. You're relinquishing control to others. Relying on others' approval to feel happy puts our emotional state in their hands. With this mindset, we feel elated when praised, but saddened or angered when not. Especially in today's age of social media, many have made seeking acceptance from others the focal point of life. Then, receiving positive attention becomes a prerequisite for happiness, entirely dependent on the unpredictable whims of those we seek to impress. It can become a type of addiction to approval. Many we seek to impress may not even be acquaintances, and many may be unstable, uninformed, or completely ignorant. So why invest time and effort in making them like us? Perhaps we don't even like them? As the philosopher Seneca said, one would be mad to be delighted at receiving the approval of fools. Why do you want praise from those you yourself cannot respect? 2. It extends beyond your control. Anxiety often stems from our minds trying to control things that are beyond our control. Ultimately, others' opinions do not depend on us, so there's only so much we can do to prevent them from disliking us. However, this doesn't mean we can't influence their thoughts. As a variation of the dichotomy of control, a concept from Stoic philosophy, philosopher and author William B. Irvine proposed the idea of dichotomy of control. Epictetus introduced the concept of the dichotomy of control, making a clear distinction between things we can control and things we cannot. However, the three-part model of control provides a more nuanced classification. Things we fully control, things we cannot control, and things we can partially control but not entirely. Others' opinions fall into the second and third categories of the dichotomy of control. In many cases, we cannot change their opinions. For example, we cannot alter what they have said to us in the past or change the perspectives of deceased parents. However, we can influence them in the present through our words and actions. While our actions can indeed have significant impacts, the ultimate outcome remains beyond our control. Therefore, worrying about others' thoughts is futile, and the most crucial aspect is to focus on our own actions. 3. Their reflection is not yours. Their reactions often reflect their own emotions and state of mind, rather than necessarily being about you. When they respond with hostility, indifference, or sadness towards you, it may simply be a natural reaction to your actions or presence, not necessarily a reflection of you personally. In fact, they may not even realize that they are expressing unwanted parts of themselves unconsciously. Psychologist Carl Jung described this phenomenon as projection, suggesting that people tend to suppress negative aspects of themselves into the unconscious mind, creating what he called the shadow. The consequence is that unconsciously, we project onto others the traits we dislike in ourselves. When we are dissatisfied with a certain aspect of ourselves, we may easily feel discomfort when we see it in others, leading to negative emotional reactions. Modern psychology describes this phenomenon as projection, where unconscious dissatisfaction causes us to attribute feelings or conflicts that we cannot accept in ourselves to others, in order to avoid direct confrontation. Projection helps us recognize aspects of ourselves that we may not fully acknowledge. According to Carl Jung, these projections are ways for us to express our unconscious selves through others. He describes how projection can turn the world into a mirror of someone's unknown aspects. Each individual perceives the world through a unique lens, and the unconscious plays a significant role in how we interact with our environment. Understanding this, we can integrate the opinions of others into our own perspective. 4. You're not the center of the universe. When we expand our imagination to contemplate the vastness of the cosmos, we begin to realize our own insignificance. While we might feel like the center of everything simply because we view the world from a personal perspective, the universal truth is quite different. Certainly, we can never know for sure. Solipsism is an idea that suggests only one's mind is certain to exist because it cannot be proven that the external world, including the minds of others, is real. To this day, we cannot experience the existence of other minds beyond our own. If your mind is truly the only one that exists, then the opinions of others are just illusions. So, there's no need to worry about things that don't actually exist. Although solipsism may be part of the truth, there still seems to be consensus that other minds exist. If this is true, then their opinions are also real. However, if everyone thinks alike and faces their own issues just like us, perhaps they wouldn't care much about us as we think. Moreover, most people are too busy to care about what others think of them to the extent that they don't have the time to carefully observe those they're trying to impress. In general, opinions are often fleeting and inconsequential, and our mistakes are often quickly forgotten, along with all the times we impress someone. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Many who are remembered have long been forgotten, and those who remembered them have long since passed away." 5. Loss of nature. Excessive concern for the opinions of others can erode your authenticity. If you are overly sensitive to the desires of others, you may become someone who merely echoes the opinions of others without forming your own. This can lead you to live based on the expectations and standards of others rather than pursuing your own values and goals. Philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche despised herd mentality that many people adhere to. He clearly distinguished between Herren- und Sklavenmoral, or the morality of masters and slaves. Leaders were seen as those with strong will, creating values and rules. Conversely, those in subordinate positions, belonging to the herd, often comply but simultaneously oppose those who oppress them. Instead of seeking to ascend and lead, those with slave morality often desire other members of the herd to be on an equal footing with them, creating uniformity within the crowd. When you become part of the herd, they expect you to adhere to their rules and standards. If you stand out, the herd may see you as a villain. If you don't conform to the conventions, you may be viewed as a threat because people often fear the unfamiliar and unconventional. In a herd community, conformity is often seen as a noble virtue, while authenticity becomes a danger. Nietzsche encourages his readers not to be confined to the roles of masters or slaves in this system, but instead to rise above and become their true selves, self-realized. He emphasizes that only when we disregard the opinions of the crowd and the pre-established norms, and forge our own path without regret, can we achieve greatness. 6. Life is short and precious. Data from a survey of over 2,000 adults in the UK, called the National Anxiety Audit, revealed that, on average, people in the UK spend 6.5 years of their lives worrying. These worries, for the most part, are directly or indirectly related to the opinions of others. For example, every day 28% of Britons worry about their appearance, 21% worry about what to wear, and 17% worry about body odor. On average, Britons live to be 81 years old, meaning they spend about 8% of their lives worrying. If they were to reduce their worries about others, they could potentially gain 2 more years to enjoy life or do something meaningful. However, while 81 years may seem long for an individual, it's just a small fraction of human history, and much smaller compared to the age of the planet Earth. Furthermore, the number of young people passing away is not insignificant, as human life is extremely fragile and can vanish in the blink of an eye, making spending time worrying about the opinions of others futile and energy-draining. The changeable and ephemeral nature of life should serve as a powerful reminder to rid ourselves of this detrimental habit. As Seneca wrote, "Live as if you were living for all eternity, and yet don't forget about the vulnerability of your life, and don't waste your time on the past." You may perceive time as an abundant resource, but in reality, each day you devote to others or to work could be your last. You carry within you the human fear of mortality, yet also harbor desires that only immortal beings possess. 7. You are the only one who can truly understand yourself. While others may offer external perspectives on your behavior, deep down, you are the one with the deepest insight into yourself. Even though we can share everything with loved ones, our minds still hold a private space, not fully revealed to the outside world. According to Carl Jung's psychological model, there are many aspects of our minds, from the persona to the ego, the shadow, and the animus or anima. Among these factors, personality is just a small part that we present to the world. According to Jung, everyone wears 2 masks, one to impress others and one to conceal their true nature. Some people have the ability to see through the cracks in our masks and even the behaviors that we may not recognize. Even though others may try to understand us, they can never truly know about our motivations, secrets, and hidden personalities because these belong only to us. Therefore, their perspectives on us often do not fully reflect the truth. While feedback from others can be helpful, the ultimate truth always lies within ourselves. In the depths of our souls, we understand what we truly want, and by holding on to that belief, we become more authentic to ourselves. By following our own will, we are less influenced by the opinions of others and become the truest version of ourselves. Thank you for watching, and remember to like, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications to not miss out on our latest videos.